All right, shalom, shalom. Let me get straight into this lesson. I'm gonna be dealing with two topics. I'm gonna be dealing with that it was Israelites that were in Rome and in the Roman military. Secondly, I'm gonna be dealing with this Jew nor Greek, right? When the scripture Salakia says there's neither Jew nor Greek, it was talking about Israelites. So a lot to get to. So let me get straight into it. So let's open up the first scripture dealing with this Israelites that was in Rome and the Roman military. And then we're going to deal with the second issue. And Cornelius was an Israelite. I'm going to prove that. And that's been a controversy from you Edomites and from you unlearned Christians because you don't know anything, right? You've been brainwashed, in some cases, brain dead, right? So let me let this load up. Then I'll be getting into Romans 1 and chapter 1. And Paul wrote that letter to the Israelites that was in Rome. And matter of fact, let me get right into it then. This the book of Romans 1 and 1. Paul, a servant of Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, called to be an apostle, separated unto the gospel of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah. Let me jump down to 7. So who was Paul writing this letter to? Because, all right, think he was writing this letter to the Edomites that was in Rome. No, he's writing to the Israelites that was in Rome. Rome was known as a melting pot, like you see with the United States. This is the revised Roman Empire. So if you're looking at the United States, you're looking at the Roman Empire. Romans 1 and 7, it says, to all be in Rome, beloved of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah, called to be saints. Who are called to be saints? The Israelites, pursuant to the book of Psalms. Grace to you and peace from our God our Father and the Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. So this letter was addressed to the Israelites that was in Rome. And you had Israelites that was in the Roman military, as Cornelius was. So let's go into this book. I'm going to prove that first. All right. I'm going to get straight to the meat of it because there's so much to read. So if you go to the very bottom, you see under this red part, right? You see the bottom where it's black at. It says the centurion clearly knew the Torah, and that's going into this scripture right here. All right. The centurion clearly knew the Torah and Israelite culture to recognize that Yahweh Shah was the Messiah. Many Roman, I want you to really listen to this, and I want you to really process what I'm about to tell you. At the very bottom, the last line, it says many Roman soldiers were indeed Israelites, right? From the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And that's facts because, our people had started to get scattered all over the place, right? But it says many Roman soldiers were indeed Israelites from the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's very important to know that. So to make a lot of other stuff make sense. Going back into this Cornelius subject. So let's go to it. All right, so we know we got this established that Paul, sometimes he's called Saul, wrote this letter to the Israelites that was in Rome. And we have it established that it was Israelites in the Roman military. Matter of fact, let me show you this before I get into this. That Rome was the original, one of the original melting pots, man. It says right here, it says, even in antiquity, Rome was a melting pot of different cultures. Okay, here go another one. It said he was the first of many foreign emperors that showed the Roman Empire to be a vast multicultural melting pot. You hear this? So if you're looking at the United States, you're looking at ancient Rome. Let's go back into this Acts so you can understand. All right, this is the book of Acts 10 and 1. There was a certain man of Caesarea called Cornelius. And see, you Christians and you Edomites will take this and say, anybody can be saved. No, salvation is only for Israel. and not even all Israel, only the elect of Israel. But you would take this and you say that Cornelius was an Edomite, a so-called white person. No, there was a certain man of Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band. Let's get into what a centurion is. All right, it's very important to understand this. The centurion, what is that? All right, let's go to it. It says right here, let me go back so you can see. We'll go to this word centurion. 1 second. All right. Right here. G1543 at the top. It says an officer in the Roman army. An officer in the Roman army. So let's go here. In this book, Salakia, towards the bottom, it says the very last line. It says many Roman soldiers were indeed Israelites from the lost sheep of the house of Israel. There you go. So let's go back into the scripture so you get some clarity. All right. Acts 10:1 again. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion, which we know that's a Roman officer, of the band called the Italian band. 2, how we know he was an Israelite? Because we know Israelites was in the Roman military. And check this out too. It says a devout man. A devout man. Ain't no heathen gonna be a devout man. And one that feared Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua with all his house. So you fear the Most High, you keep his commandments, right? All right. So we know he was an Israelite, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to God away. So we know he wasn't a so-called white person. He was an Edomite. I mean, he was an Israelite, Salakia. He was not a so-called white person. He was an Israelite, Cornelius. So let's deal with this Galatians 3:28. Right? For you Christians, you'll take this scripture as well and take it out of context and think it's talking about so-called white people. All right. Galatians 3:28. There is neither Jew nor Greek. Right? So you Christians close your Bible up and see salvation is for everybody. Right? You don't know the history. Right? There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Hamashiach Yahushua. So why is it says that there's neither Jew or Greek? All right, if you knew the history, the Israelites went under the Greek culture. They got Hellenized. They were speaking Greek. They had Greek names. They didn't even know how to speak Hebrew, some of them, right? And how did this happen? All right, matter of fact, let me show you. Let's go to the scripture. We're going to let the scripture do the talking. This is the book of First Maccabees. Let's go to the very top. 1:1. And it happened. After that, Alexander, the son of Philip the Macedonian, which if you do his lineage, goes back into Edomites. That's how we know Alexander and the Greeks were Edomites. The original Greeks were so-called brown-skinned people, and they got conquered by the Edomites, and the Edomites started calling themselves Greeks, like they always do. All right. Who came out of the land of Chittim and had smitten Darius, the king of the Persians and Medes, that had reigned in his stead the first over Greece. They go to Greeks, which are Edomites. Let's jump down to 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, which was an Edomite, who had been a hostage at Rome and reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. There you go. 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men. So Israelites, like you see the sellouts today, there's nothing new under the sun. All right. Who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. So that's going to make a covenant deal with the so-called white man, the Greeks, and be a part of them. All right. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So let's go down to 40. I believe it's 41. Yeah, 41. First Maccabees 1:41. It says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. All right. So everybody gonna call themselves so-called Greeks. 42. And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Listen to this very important scripture. 43. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. Let's add more to this. So a lot of Israelites dropped their customs and picked up the Greek customs. Second Maccabees 6:6. It says, neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath or ancient fast or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. Right? So the Israelites couldn't call themselves Judeans. All right, Yahweh in the Hebrew tongue. They had to call themselves Greeks. Right? And that's how you got this scripture right here. There's neither Jew nor Greek. You have to know the history to know the mysteries, right? Galatians 3:28. There's either Jew nor Greek. So what is this talking about? The Israelites that was Hellenized, right? That had took on the Greek customs, that had Greek names, that didn't even speak Hebrew in some cases, and was totally worshiping the Greek gods. Right here, it says that the Hellenistic Jews are those who speak mainly Greek. You hear this? The Hellenistic Jews are those who speak mainly Greek and formerly lived outside of Judea or in Galilee, but they had settled in Jerusalem. Some of them, right? But there you go. So you had Israelites that was calling themselves Greeks, right? And some of them knew they was Israelites and some of them didn't know they was Israelites. Some had to be woken up, right? So let me go to more of this book, an insert. Salakia. Let's go here. At the very bottom, right? The last paragraph at the bottom. It says Saul, which is Paul, also talks about Jew and Greek. In this letter of Romans, when referencing the Greeks, he's actually speaking of the house of Israel. Right? He's talking about the Israelites, including the southern kingdom as well. Right? The 10 tribes assimilated into various nations. So that's including the southern kingdom as well. Because remember, when Antiochus, give me 1 second. 1 second. All right, let me go back here. Let me go to because it's like 1 and I want to start at 1 and 38. First Maccabees 1 and 38. It said, in so much that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon the city was made in the habitation of strangers and become strange to those that were born in her, and her own children left her. So this was in the Judea, right, which is the capital was Jerusalem, right? So this would be when the Greeks came in and conquered the kingdom of Judah, the southern kingdom. So it just was not. So let me go back here so you can see. Salakia. At the very bottom, it says, so Paul also talks about Jew and Greek in his letter of Romans. When referencing Greeks, he's actually speaking of the house of Israel, which there'll be all 12 tribes. Because remember, the Greeks came in and conquered the kingdom of Judah. All right. So yeah, and also the other, tribes of Israel. Assimilated into various nations, the known language of that day, Salakia, the known language of the day in the world ruled earlier by Alexander the Great was Greek. There you go. So a lot of Israelites had taken on the Greek custom, names, religion. They was worshiping idols, eating pork, all kind of madness. All right. So that's who Jew and no Greek was talking about, the Israelites that had fell away, right? And they call themselves Greeks. Call Allah, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakak Wadah Shalom.